Sorry for that delay. Thank you for joining me this morning. This is the Coin King channel, and I am your host, Down to Crypto TA. Just taking a look here at Bitcoin for starters. So let me just start off by saying this right here. This is not going to be a long stream this morning. I'm just going to get straight to what we need to get into here on the chart, and then I'm going to call it a day. It is, following a U.S. holiday, and markets will not be open past 1 today. So, with that said, we're hitting our resistance point in here for Bitcoin. Nice little push up. The last stream was on Tuesday, and we were looking at the potential bear flag situation. We talked about the price move to the downside and a price move possibly to the upside. Bulls had that one under wraps, especially with the low liquidity here in the market too. So we have to see how things really go once liquidity starts to creep back in here. But we are hitting our resistance point in here. This is from the ascending, well, not actually ascending. This is from our megaphone pattern in here. So we're just hitting the lows of that here. Um, the two lines that you're looking at right here, that's just what we plotted for using. Which time frame was I using in here? This time frame right here. So that's just in between where we have the body of the low and the wick low here. And turn that off so you can see how we map that out. So that's the body of the low, and then you saw the wick of the low in here as well. Our bounce here after taking low liquidity over our ascending trend line in here. So not too much has changed. Like I said, we are at a pretty strong resistance point in here for Bitcoin. What we were looking at, one of the things that we were looking at in here anyway was potentially getting another 2021 type result in here where we do see a final little leg up right here before continuation to the downside. If technically based on technicals, we are within a bear market. Okay, so based on the technicals, if we're doing what we did prior, this would indicate that we are in a bear market. So I'm going to stick with that. Markets can change. Absolutely, they can change. But we're looking for that bounce as we did over here. And then a continuation down is what we would be looking for. If we don't get the continuation down, great. All of our bags go up, right? That's the hopium. There's really nothing here on the lower time frame, just kind of consolidating, like I said, at least until money starts to come back into the market. One of the things that you can do in here, this was the first golden pocket that we were watching. I was really thinking that we were gonna, if that bear flag, because it did have the bear div as well. But we talked about the fact that sometimes a bear flag will break to the upside also. But we only just kept knocking on the golden pocket and getting the bounce off of that this first golden pocket and not the actual second one. So, I mean, that's great. That's great. Let's see what else we had in here. I just adjusted this line in here. Initially, it was sitting like this. And you can see how we chopped on it, broke it, came back tested it, broke it again, and then got the push to the upside. Another bit of confluence in here you have is going to be, this was the bear flag that we were looking at. Our potential here for of the bear flag getting the breakdown and possibly coming into this golden pocket if that was going to be the situation. But if you actually extend this was your max point too. So if you're not using the broadening formation, you can continue to use this right here. So on some sort of a pullback, you probably can just extend your lines out and see if that'll work for you. So if I extend this one to the right, you can see how we tap that top here, and we're rejecting off of that as well. So you can go with this too. It's probably gonna be more justifiable to go with the megaphone low, because if you're getting back inside that megaphone, then that chance of a bigger push, and you won't be able to see that from this situation in here. But you can use that. You can extend that out, probably even use this one here, like I said, and just extend this out. Or you can change the low to capture this portion in here. Just see which one. Yeah, see, it's already doing that one. So yeah, you probably want to drop this down if you wanted to find some sort of support, just like I have it on that lower time frame. Probably want to do that with this one. Um, but outside of that, yeah, just hitting our little resistance here at the megaphone pattern low. You come back in here, might be a good thing. Might be a good thing. You will have to wrestle with that 93,738 for sure. So just keep your eyes on that, and that's the resistance from the low over here again for Bitcoin. Looking at, let's see, liquidation, max pain here. You have all of your other ones in here you can take a look at. But for Bitcoin, to the upside, short max pain, you can see that's at 92,536.9. That's like $1,000 off or $1,100 off here for short max pain. Long max pain, we're looking at 89,875.3. So 15 to $16,000 off on long max pain in here. Okay, so possible move to the downside. Just watch those two. Possible move to the downside, possible continuation push to the upside. Just look for that. Okay. Um, Here with our OI strike prices here, we were looking at this as well because we saw an extreme buildup in here also. If we're doing anything like this 100,000, if you recall back on that monthly, I'm gonna jump back over there and look at that real quick too. If you recall back on that monthly though, there was a point where I kept mentioning that we would squeeze above that point. So um, that could be another resistance point in here for Bitcoin. Um, but keep $100,000 in your thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. Right. But for now, we're just sideways. We're sideways. Again, markets will close today at one. At one. So let me take a look at that in here. And that's basically just this point back up here. That's a long way off. Something spectacular would have to happen in the market for that. Because it is a pretty long way off, but you can see where this 10 is sitting at. It's roughly around where that 100,000 is at also. So your 10 EMA. That's about what we did when it happened over here. Just coming back into those 2 points as resistance. So this has been our theory, potentially some sort of head and shoulder formation that will push us down into here over the coming months. But anything can happen between then. So it's just a theory for now, and nothing more. Move on. Take a look here at Solana. Okay, so Solana right now is back at this value area low here. Let me make sure I didn't need to move anything in here. So no, it's back at this value area low here, back at the place where we initially was looking for price to no, initially we're up here. Okay, so yeah, we're back at the value area low here after holding our 200 EMA, after holding or just taking the liquidity from our ascending trend line in here. I'm sorry, point of control. Forgive me. Solana is at the point of control. Forgive me. Bounce off of the value area low 200 EMA, our ascending trend line, the 786, all of the confluence that we had in here for Solana. So right now, just hitting the point of control. This is still great for Sol, especially if it gets above this point of resistance. That would be good. Probably will have to wrestle with where you see this 5 at, and that's 150. We'll just say 152. Probably would have to wrestle in here. But right now, I would tell you that your range is probably going to be somewhere between between 121 all the way back up here to about 170. That's probably going to be Solana's price range for now, somewhere in between here. Let me just move through and take a look at some of the other stuff that we have in here for Sol. Just trying to see how it would add up. But this is starting to look pretty decent in here, especially, if we're breaking above our dynamic cloud in here. That's going to be great. We're still in our bear market territory, so um, looks like you have like some sort of a channel formation in here. Can probably use that at least until it breaks. Could probably use that. Let's see what we got. Yeah, you could probably use this as a range for it. But nonetheless, the what I just mentioned. Oh yeah, it is coming. I'm gonna come back to that. But what I just mentioned about being at the point of control and getting above here again, that would likely be the range here for Sol. Not saying that this one move is going to happen today. Maybe going into next week, we'll see. We'll see how things go, or even over the weekend with the low liquidity if they're able to push prices up through here. All right, so I like this here. It is back within, back above this trend line here. At least I can extend these out. Uh, it's about 150, 56. You can just copy whatever you see I have in here also, because we were rejecting here. Remember, we were rejecting here. So it's nice to see that we've managed to at least come back inside of here. But nonetheless, point of control, low resistance in here. Your low resistance as well for good old Slanza. Let's move on over here. Ethereum, bottom side of the dynamic cloud. The levels in here really are great for Ethereum. So I would probably just stick to that. You can extend this out here. Let me just go ahead and do that now. Just keeping it as it was before. Yeah. And now that I moved that one, I'm gonna have to delete this one and just copy and put it back like I had it. Just like that. Something like that. So let me just check my artwork. Off. I'm off. I just knew it looked a little bit suspect because it did look a little bit off. I knew it was matching pretty good with that and that. Okay, so there we go. There we go. Our little ascending channel in here, and this level of resistance that Sol would be coming into, and then our one to the low. In here, you can also just do your fib retracement in here also. But right now, we don't know that that's going to be our high. That would just bring us back to here if that were to happen. But right now, we don't know that that's going to be the high for now. But definitely use your channel here for this this situation we have going on here with Solana. I mean, Ethereum for possible targets up in here in this range, 3236 again, and then 30,084 to the low end there. And this one was 27. 27, just say 20. I'm just going to round it up, 28, and then 26 down here to the low. And we get through, if Ethereum manages to get through that point. I mean, maybe the next time you see this, I have some actual numbers on it to make it a little bit easier. So 36 to 35,000 here. just shy of that. We can do at least this low part in here. Let's just make it easier. Just draw your golden pocket 786. Make it so much easier, right? Um, and just look for a break below here. Look for this to get lost, to lose this right here, or at least you see this candle right here. How we have this momentum. Momentum looks pretty decent through here. It's walking sideways. So again, more consolidation here based on this 4 hour time frame. We're walking the line. We're going sideways. Because this likely would have been a break. A break in the no, let me do it like that. Break in the momentum, possible back test, rejection down. So you might be hitting some resistance to here for Ethereum. Let me just push forward and see what we got. Nothing really. It's about $45 off from Max Payne for 45 bucks off for short liquidations here. And it's at 3,092. So pretty close in that. And that looks like that little volume spike we have coming out over there to the downside, 29. 29.93, so about 3,000. It's about the same either direction. Here for, see, it must be this little node right here. Yeah, I would probably, like I said, just watch that golden pocket. If we don't continue to move, like you, I'm gonna call it harmony, going up through this channel right here. If we do continue to move in harmony, yeah, it probably would stop out somewhere in here. We do have low liquidity, guys. Very low liquidity, holiday. So pretty easy to move price action, but it is going a little bit sideways at the moment. A little sideways. So that's what I will watch here on Ethereum. Just look, see if we can get a push up into this golden pocket. We get through that golden pocket, and I will look for somewhere around here to 786, just to simplify it. And we break back down, just look for a move back down towards there. Exactly where we came from. Yep. Zcash. All right, so we finally broke below our ascending trend line in here for Zcash. I'm gonna put us on a higher time frame so we can see what that looks like. So our ascending formation here that we had lined out here for Zcash, we finally came in and we tapped into that. What I would look for here is either a reclaim back inside of this ascending formation. So that could be, one scenario is that it pushes back inside it here. A second scenario would probably be taking the liquidity from this low in here, maybe even pushing down right here where you see this 397. I would look for that. Now I know we've talked about this in here. This should take a little bit more time to happen. I mean, as long as it doesn't retrace as fast as it did going up. But I would stick to something somewhere in here. We can also draw a fib on this. This is your euphoria right here at this red line. That would be breaking back into euphoria. And then this is maintaining within harmony here at that 397, which is why I'm saying I would probably stick with something in here Either it reclaims back inside of the ascending trend line in here, or it gets the extra push down, and we come somewhere into this. If we draw a fib on this, it's going to be that one. All right, so that lines us with the golden pocket as well. So our harmony in here. This is something that I would look for right here. Right now, just sideways. I did not consider using this little point right here at all, simply because we were breaking from the channel at that point. Not the channel, but the ascending trend line at that point. So that's what I would look for here in Zcash. I probably wouldn't touch it until it does one of those two things, which is going to be either getting back inside of the range or coming down here towards this golden pocket, and also what we have that 397 at. Okay, that harmony. I probably wouldn't touch it until it does something like that. So PC trying to lag on me right now. I just wanted to see what that probably was or could be. It's probably nothing right now. Yeah, it's probably nothing. But that's what you have to look for here on Zcash. Either gets back in here. You can see that the resistance here at the lows as well. So either gets back in here and above that resistance, maybe even for a push back into here, or I mean, this is so much better. Psychologically, is better right here at that golden pocket retracement for Zcash. All right, I am going to push forward, because I know we're not going to be doing anything but going sideways for a minute in here for Bitcoin and the rest of the market. Just sideways, All right, let's see. Let me just run through here real quick and just see. Let's take a look at some of these other ones. Not be much to see. Just from where we were last looking at, I'm just trying to see if there's anything interesting in here so far. Nothing. Nothing has changed from what we were looking at so far. That little thing held up. Everything basically has this little hockey hockey stick situation going on with it. So nothing really, nothing new under the sun here. Like that. Yeah. Everything basically looks the same from prior. All right. Um Put this back on Zcash. VIX. VIX usually holds once it gets down here to SD1. It typically doesn't push any lower than that. It typically doesn't. And this is a daily. Every so often you might come into this, but this is generally where VIX bounces from right here. And you can see how VIX is holding in here. So we'll see what that does, especially with stock market closing. I mean, liquidity started going out of the stock market, prior to, you got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas coming up, you got taxes coming up. So it will be what it will be in here. This is typically a bounce zone for the VIX. Total in here, which is holding up very well. And then our USDT dominance that we were looking at in here. And last time we were looking at it, it was holding in here, and then it got that breakdown because, of course, we know Bitcoin got that push up. So that's pretty decent. And, our measured second target, measured move, and all that good stuff. So nothing's really changed in here. Probably look for this to come back. Like I said the last time, probably come back either into where it got the breakout from, which is going to be this line, this one here, from this possible back test and bounce. And if you see it coming back into this one, then I would just look to this one right here. One of the one or the other here for this is support zone. So let's just knew that it would be a support level. $589, $560. Support coming into play. And what else did we have in here? Just Solana versus Ethereum. You can see that it tapped into its weekly level here. See what Bitcoin dominance is looking like. Do it from a daily. Let me see if we ever drop below that cloud or if we're still okay. So we did lose that cloud in here. Or were we looking at it on the daily or on the weekly? No, we were looking at it on the weekly. It's like, whoa, wait, hold on. Okay, yeah, we were looking at it on the weekly. So just spiking outside of the top side of the dynamic cloud. No actual follow through. No actual follow through. I just want to see if this is following through. No, this is at the lows. Okay. But it's holding. I can't get bearish on this Not until we actually either this cloud pops up and engulfs price action, like it does something like this for me. We have to be riding underneath it. Right now we're in it, so I can't get bearish on it. I don't have a reason to. This is just supported right now. Regardless of what it looks like on the lower time frame, this is being supported. What are they talking about in here? All right, I'm gonna push forward here. All right. So we all saw this on gold. We've been following gold. We didn't drop this line on here until I think it was like Monday or something like that, where we dropped the top side line in here. But we were watching the lower trend line in here only prior to me identifying that it was probably some sort of a triangle formation in here. And I did post this out. So we have our range, what we'd be looking for in here. If it gets a successful breakout to the upside, first thing I'll be looking at is going to be the range high, which is at 43.81. If it breaks out above the range high, then there is a target in here for 48.76 to the downside, because right now it is back. It had some sort of an attempted push out in here. You can drop this too if you prefer to do it off of a line bias. Sometimes I will do it off of a line bias. Sometimes I won't. I think, yeah, I didn't do that one off of a line bias either. But sometimes I will do it off of a line bias instead. You draw it off of a line bias, then you've already broken out of it, and then you could use that as a potential back test of this level. I'm gonna leave it like this, like I have it right here. But just saying, to the downside, you would look for the range low to hold, which is at 38.86, and if it didn't hold that, then our target, which would be exactly what we were looking at before as a potential target, would be this. It just lined up perfectly with that low. No trying. No trying. So we have to look forward to on gold. So looking down here, I didn't really see anything that stood out to me. I didn't see anything that stood out to me. Not yet. Change this to a line. Not yet. You could already tell that any sort of a breakout here is going to be a failure in terms of momentum. It doesn't seem that momentum would be the same. It's not even anything to really be concerned about at the moment, but you could see that, it would be some sort of a bear div, which can go on for a while. I just don't see it getting back to this level. There's nothing you can do about it until it makes the move. It has to make the move first. and then maybe look for a rejection. Like I said, I would kind of watch that maybe for some sort of a double top, maybe, but I mean, you can't argue with that. Not until it breaks it. And you can see you have the confluence with the low here. So if it does break it, you have the confluence with it also breaking below the that EMA ribbon right there. You also have that confluence. It will be just like the little triangle that it put in here. You see that one right here? It's just this one is slightly ugh. But no, I can't compare them because the confluence for this one uh, was this one. So you would have to see it break down from the low. Right now, this looks pretty nice. Cannot argue with that. That looks pretty good. Mm. At best, it gets a failed breakout. At best, a failed breakout would be the thing. But all of this still looks good for gold. Your even though a little lack of momentum in here on the MACD is still way this huge gap between that and the zero line. Like everything else is noise right now. Everything is noise right now until it actually breaks the low of this line in here. Have to break that, and then even then, you wouldn't be looking for a full on reversal, right? Just some sort of a move back down, possibly back test in here at this 26 right here. Maybe that at best right now, as opposed to what I'm looking at, which is going to be here. I'm looking here for the full breakdown, or over time that would be the difference. It would be a break of structure in here. I'll say yeah, it would be a break of structure. Would be a break of structure on a lower time frame. Not don't count that for this time frame as a break of structure because it won't be. This is one leg. All of this one leg. I mean, yeah, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. All right. Amazon. Once I went through to see why. I mean, this right here, like I said, this would be like a month and so out if the market gives this. This has time to play. Like this would be that takes some time. In the immediate, I was looking for rejection here. We managed to get through, and the rejection is coming at this one right now, but it's probably just the fact that it's the holiday. So a little less capital in here at the moment. You see VWAP through here as well, and I can see where it was holding there with VWAP. We talked about the reclaim in here. All of this, I mean, all of that's already happened. So um, nothing in here. Um, yeah, this is our range play right now until we break down from here and lose this VWAP. Another breakdown below here, that would be something else. But this is about a month out now. I'm basing this on a 3-month time frame. So a month and 4 days out. We'll see how it goes. Might have to add some months onto that. I might. I might have to. But right now, this is our range play. Euphoria is all the way up here. I did adjust these. This is a weekly. So next target on any sort of continuation to the upside, be looking at that 236. I would say 240 if you're looking for an even number. 240. Mm. Google. They kept it kind of pinned. The expiries is tomorrow. Today is the expiries today. So I was looking at the fact that there are a lot of shorts in here right now. A lot of put calls for Google, and I was like, that probably means that goes higher. So I'm like, probably means that it goes higher. This is the target that I've been watching. I just made it a little bit more in sync with everything else in here. I did address these points in here. I think I'm using, what am I measuring daily. All right, so this will probably change again in here, but this target is the same, that 335 target that we were looking for. That is that 335 target. Still the same. I just pulled the line back and changed the color. That's it. But it's still 335. All right. For me, I was seeing that max pain was in here. Max pain will fluctuate. It will fluctuate. And this is max pain simply because you have such a high amount of short interest right now on Google. A high amount of short interest, but we're outside of euphoria. The weekly is moving in harmony. So let me return all of that stuff off. So the weekly is moving in harmony. You can see where your low kind of like came in at on that candle too. Um, so you can see how you're staying in here on your weekly. You can see how on the weekly it's outside of euphoria in here. So if it continues to respect this, if you get a move down, then that would be a good entry if you could get it there. And then if you don't hold that, then you'd be looking down here somewhere. But it is moving within harmony. So I mean, Google looks good. It looks good. Oh man, that scared the mess out of me. My phone just started talking in a male voice, and I'm like, where is that coming from? Oh my God, that scared the bejesus out of me. I don't think this is the time frame I was just on. It's not. I think I was over here on a 2 or 1 or something. And I just trapped it in a channel and I gave it a little line down through here too. Looks bullish. Again, continues to look bullish because I'm trying to make sure that we hit this target in here at least. Then, like I said, max pain is up here at 350. It could have changed. I really don't have the data right now. It's not going to refresh until later. But Google continues to look good. That's just gold again. This is NVIDIA. So on Tuesday, did I take this on? Was this Tuesday that I took this? Yeah, it was Tuesday. Tuesday, I told you I was looking for a move down here to 170. We got it. We hit our 170. I'm still sitting in this trade right now. It's been sideways ever since then. 180, I know is a level of interest in here. 180, exactly like I have everything marked out here on my chart. I just move it to, let's just do a 1 hour. And it hides the position and everything once I move from there. This is what I have us trapped inside of with the ability to move through within this range here. So 185, 175 to the low 185. I'm not looking for us to come back down into the 170 right now. Looking for us to stay pinned somewhere in here close to this 180. Max Pain was moving on me over that was on Tuesday. I was just adjusting the max pain every time that I needed to adjust it. But 170 hit really good. So if you was here with me and you heard me talking about 170, that was a good entry for for uh for for Nvidia, because I told you I wasn't gonna be trading anything in crypto. I'm holding my little Bitcoin position, but that I would be probably on BTCC messing around here with Nvidia. So up pretty good on the Nvidia entry here. So this is everything that we have been looking at. There's some other stuff down here to the downside, but right now we're just trying to get through the options close here today and then going into next week. Next week, potentially this could be a target. This 165. That could be a target next week. And that is if we don't see a continuation here to the upside for Nvidia. Right now, like I said, they'll probably keep us close to hanging around this 180. This is the biggest zone of interest right here, 180. So they could keep pinning price closer to this going into the close of, 1 o'clock. Markets close at 1. All right. Markets close at 1. So far, so good. So far, so good for Nvidia. 200 is also a major magnet, but that would be changing market structure. I would love that. I would love it. They probably keep us in here. So that's that. And that's just me adjusting, still holding. I took my first TP in here off of NVIDIA was here. It's at 175. And you saw where that trend line was coming from when I had it over here. That's just through here. So I was taking this bit of noise right here out. Just taking the noise out from here. Because that's about what we were doing beforehand. But it probably keep us again, like I said, to market closes at least. I wouldn't see us outside of 185, possibly closer to this 180 like we are right now, and at the bottom side 175 right now. And I was watching something else in here. This was coming from the QTD. I was just watching this line through here. And you can see how we once you get above side drawings, once you get above here, above the cloud, you start to put in bullish divergence. If you ever work with me, we're working with this indicator right here. That's what you tend to get once this drops, this cloud drops and price pops above it, you start to pull in bullish divergence and you just keep pushing up. So you start to ignore this stuff in here. You start to ignore any sort of bear divs because now you're in an uptrend. And likely you're not going to be moving it fast enough to for those bear divs to make a difference, to matter. So you start to put in bullish divergence, and that becomes my focus when I use this indicator right here. Just saying. So good entry for us. I was messing around with Tesla as well, and it was just an entry based on max pain. Wasn't looking forward to do anything more than this 425, but you can see I have highlighted some levels in here. This is going to change for next week slightly. So the next one up here is 430. Be Tesla coming into 430, and I do see what I kind of missed here on Tesla too. No, it wasn't Tesla. No, it wasn't. It wasn't Tesla. It wasn't Tesla. It was not Tesla. Because with Tesla, this is just a 5-minute chart, of course. And let me make sure this doesn't travel. This is going to look very close. Very close. It's the stock market. So you know what we have to do in the stock market. You know, because it don't move like crypto. Okay, so nothing. Yeah, I still got my hopium slippers on for this, but right now we are holding the ascending trend line, the one that we had previously in here. We kept whipping that one in here, and I think that, and anyway, I can't remember. Why would I have had another one in here? I don't know. No, we did break. Yeah, we did break down from that first one. But I deleted it because it got choppy. And then this was the next one that we were looking for, and we're holding through this one. So I'm not getting my hopium right now, which is the move down here, which would take some time. It would take some time. So I can leave it on the table for now. But then I ended up also seeing that most of your Mag 7 is just coming back to here. It's just coming back to here. 3 month, I believe. No, that's 1 month. Okay. So most of the Mag 7 is just coming back to here. And that's it. Got nothing. I got nothing until we actually break that and break here. Um, to potentially see that. What I'm hooping and hollering about. I got nothing. All right. So Tesla. Oh, Tesla had some pretty good money flow into it for upside interest. That's why I started tracking Tesla on Tuesday when I was going through looking at it. There was some pretty good money that went into Tesla. And let me see if I can pull that up in here. Let me see. No, right now the chances of hitting it are kind of slim right now, but at the moment it's about 457. So basically it's coming back into these lows in here. Coming somewhere back up into here. It's like like I said, it's like 457 right now, which is 9 days out. So next week, that's something that we can be looking at here for Tesla. But it was some pretty good money went into Tesla for that move up here. Nice call. Nice call on it. Up into here. Back into here. So if you do see it get up here, you would want to be looking for a rejection in here. Just back at the highest possible rejection. If it manages to come up this high, I don't really see that right now. But if it breaks above here, then it's a go. It's gone. Eh, but some unusual activity for a push up into here. And let me just, without putting you over here on this, let me just see if I take a look here at details. But anyway, I said all that to say I'm not getting that leg down right now. So Tesla's in my watch for the week. Let me see what else I got in here. If this will move. There was some calls on Circle as well. Some pretty good money went into Circle. Also, when I last looked at it, it is above where the unusual activity was coming in from here for Circle, which was about 75. We're close. I mean, we're just above 75, 75.32 right now. So some pretty good call activity in here for that. Some good call activity for coin as well. And I added coin to the watch list for next week. So this is just holding the trend line support here. Netflix Also, the low here. Netflix would have to lose this right here to entertain this right here. I have any notes in here? I do. 35 RSI works great on this one. Daily slightly below 200, currently below 40. All right. Nothing important for you to worry about. We'll see. Um, right now, we know that this is holding support and catching a little bit of a bid right here at the low, trying to get back inside of this possible bear flag, bull flag, possible bull flag, possible bull flag, and probably get an expansion. We drop below here. If we lose this completely right here around this 105 right here, we lose that, and then I start to look down here. Right now, it's holding. I didn't see anything. I mean, I would be looking for a breakup, but right now it's the weekend. Markets close at 1. We really have to wait until next week to see what we're gonna do. But just stuff that you can be aware of right now. So what I'm be looking for. Oh, hold on. What is this? Okay, this is what I'm watching next week. Actually, sorry. Let me just put this back like that. All right, Oracle. I did a little tweet on Oracle and I said it could be a good buying opportunity. So I'm not calling the low on Oracle, not in here, but there is a lot of put interest for Oracle. All right. So I have this. I was not in this at all. I was not in this at all. I just started looking at what they're looking at, what I'm seeing in the data that's being provided to me for a potential move down here to 150. Now, I know that there were some strong put calls down to 105 for Oracle as well, which doesn't seem to make sense to me. Not just looking at technicals, just looking at the technicals, it looks like either this was a low for Oracle or the big money that just went in on Oracle that's looking at this 150 down here. So it could get a pump up and then come down here and visit this 150. It could do that. That'll put it below VWAP. Probably be a good, I mean, I bought some. I bought when I looked at it that day, I was like on Tuesday, I bought some. I do have a stop in here for it. I bought it spot. I bought it spot, but I still set a stop for it just in case there is the follow through down before up. I'm hoping that we get this move up first for Oracle, um, which it would have to. It would have to have the power to get above this 238, which is going to be, in my opinion, that might be a little difficult. That might be a little difficult. But most of the money that I've seen going into it, they're looking for a continuation to the downside. And I'm not feeling like that with this. But I set that stop. I set that stop on spot for it. I'm not feeling like that with it. But I'm gonna buy this one regardless. I'm gonna keep trying at it. Right now it's holding above where I got my entry in it on it. So that's good. You do see this nice little parallel channel here for it. I was looking back at VWAP on it. And that's from the leg up from this point here. So on the 16 hours, I was catching the bullish divergence that it has on it, and then the possibility of momentum having flipped here on this 16-hour chart. Like I said, it's Friday. Market's going to close at 1. We're not going to come back until Monday. So really, there's no sense in trying to figure out direction right now. And it's the end of the year. We're close to the end of the year and taxes and all of that good stuff. So, but I think Oracle is a good one. I think it's a good one just because people are aggressively going in to short Oracle. Oracle is putting in some pretty good work on their AI infrastructure. This call here on this 150, this is for January 2nd. It's for January 2nd. It was put in at let's see if I can't remember. I think they put it in. They're out of the money right now. The person that took that trade off of exchange away from exchanges where you can see the money getting put into it. They took it around one. What was it? What price was that? What they did this at? I mean, they're out of the money right now. I can't go back through and try to find the information on this. I just know they're out of the money right now. Well, I'll be watching to see if any more interest comes in on shorting this AVGO. That's another good one to look at. I didn't add it to this watch list though. Not right now. I think Oracle looks pretty good. Just so you're aware of the short interest, though, I just wanted to make sure I covered that on the stream. I didn't tweet that part out, but I'm covering it here with you on stream. And the bullish divergence that I was seeing in here on the 16-hour, where we got this little pop up right here. You can see the bull div through here on the 16-hour chart. No actual breakout here just yet, and I did go back through to kind of pair where it had these breakout moments in here on the chart, which will look exactly like it looks now. This was one right here as well. You can see that one. You can see the one through here. So no actual follow through on this just yet, even though we have the bullish divergence in here. No follow through on that just yet. Had the bull div in here as well. No, you didn't. No, you did not. But you had this trend break through here. Just like potentially there could be a trend breakthrough here. It's probably not going to happen today or anything like that. But I'm still closely watching Oracle for some sort of a break to the upside because it looks like that's what we're going to get. I don't know if we're going to get down here to this 151st or if it breaks out from here. Nobody actually knows, but probabilities are pretty high for me to say that Oracle is going to get some sort of a push to the upside. Now, I was putting in bearish divergence all the way down through here, so that was keeping the leg down here. The bear div here, you can see it on volatility. How we were getting these higher highs in here against price action. But this is the point where the RSI actually put in some bullish divergence for the first time, bullish divvies for the first time. And that can clearly be seen here between that low and this low right here. But where we got that nice little bottom and tail candle there, little pin bar candle right there. Let's see how this goes. It's about all I've seen. It would be a temporary pump, like I said. Maybe price can push up into here. I mean, I'm asking a lot for it to get above this red line, but I am looking at the measured move, which would be to here, and then maybe we come down here and fulfill this target on this 150. That's what I'm pushing for. Either way it goes, I'm gonna pick some up. If it's not there, then I will look to pick up down in here. I'm just betting on a break to the upside on this one right now. I'm betting on one. Let's see if that happens. But Oracle is a good one to keep your eyes on. What else I got in here that I was looking at? Walmart. Walmart has some pretty good interest here. And I put some notes in here on Walmart. Some pretty good interest. I capped it inside this little channel in here. There is confluence with the trend line that's running parallel clean across this bottom line right here, and that's on your weekly time frame and higher. So Walmart losing this would send Walmart prices down. Ultimately, when something like that happens, I do tend to look down here. That would take some time. There is some things in here. There is some interest down in here. 12, 12, 25. Some money went in for a put down here to 99 on Walmart. And like I said, some pretty good confluence riding across this bottom parallel channel line here. Some pretty good confluence riding down through here. I do to the upside. That would be my cap on it, somewhere around this 116. Maybe it breaks through that a little bit, but nonetheless, between the top side of this channel and then the cap out here is what I would be looking for on Walmart. But like I said, some pretty good interest in Walmart on it coming back down through here. Bear, what were we looking at? Well, I was looking at bear divvies. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Possible daily expansion. Possible. It had already got that blast out on that daily. I was just looking at how it was behaving. What's that? Oh, PC lagging. My PC is so lagging. Walmart could stay good going all the way through Christmas. It could. It could stay good going all the way through Christmas. But like I said, there is confluence riding across here. Whenever you have confluence, such as a moving average across something like this, where you have like a nice little trend line that you can plot, it's confirmation. It confirms that if you break it, and you're likely to accelerate down. And there are two. There's one that's here across this low, and then there's one that's here across this one. And the range is all the way down here towards 60, and you can even see that from the next trend line that we have in here. So that's your open mouth range right here. That's your open mouth range. Not saying that that's going to happen right now. I don't see a reason to have to focus on anything like that. Walmart did have some pretty good, I think they had like good earnings or whatever. But I'm just saying, you know, maybe it breaks this channel and then I would just start to look back here at this trend line right here. At best, somewhere back down into here. So we get closer into, you know, when next week comes. When next week comes between December, you know, to the midpoint of December, this could be a target to the downside for Walmart. Just back into here, and just because I like to have stuff on the chart. Just saying that could be a target for us here. This could look slightly different next month, but we'll see those changes here when it happens. Just something to watch for here. If it gets a move down, and like I said, to the upside, if it breaks this, then I would look there. 116. Let me see if I was noticing anything else in here. I don't think so. But let me see. Yeah, the bear div. I know all about the bear div in here. I know all about, you see the bear div. You see the bear div, and you see how this is walking sideways right now. With this little chomp. Could be a good short up here. If it pushed up here, that could be a good short. Now, if it's just violating this thing and blasting through it, you don't want to do that. But right now, this momentum is trash. It's trash. Lose 50. See this on the monthly. Aside from that, it would just be a temporary pullback. That's crazy, though. That's crazy. And back on 16. Surprised I didn't have any notes in here unless something updated. I guess I didn't put anything in here because I like to watch this. When you get these breaks outside of here and you get pushed back in, breaks outside of here. Another bear div right there. I don't like any of this right here. That's why I'm leaning towards that confluence down, and I could see why somebody would be like, yeah, this comes back down here. But like I said, I'll probably just watch that line right there for now. And for some reason, if it were to break that, this would most certainly be my target right here. It's a lot of stuff, like I said, a lot of these trades have been coming back down to this point. And so to throw up all of this bear div in here, this consolidation in here, ultimately that's probably somewhere that I would be looking. It's Walmart. It's on my watch for next week. I think, okay, yeah. Um, I have all of this mapped out elsewhere in a different pane somewhere. And it was what helped us call that top for coin. It helped us call this top for coin. And I actually had tweeted on that when we were over here. Um, I c- I don't I didn't feel like going back through and finding the data, so I just stuck with this chart right here that I'd already had and some stuff that I'd already looked at in here. Um, but there is some call action here, so there's some money pouring in for some continuation here to the upside. We'll see this probably get revisited quite a bit here moving forward. That 282. Uh, but if we did continue this, this push to the downside, you can see how we here average return would probably be down here back at this lower part of this trend line right here from this ascending formation, ascending broadening formation in here. I think this was also probably like a golden pocket tap or something like that. I'm gonna have to move that, so please forgive me. Well, just slightly below the golden pocket. But I was watching that monthly. It looked like this on the monthly, as opposed to how you see it over right here. And I don't know. I don't know. There was some pretty good money going in, long, long activity going in here for Coinbase. Some pretty good capital went in for base. So looking for price to push back up into these lows right now. And to the downside, I will be watching the bottom side of our channel line here, or broadening formation line here, which is this one. Um, since again, I know the market's closing at 1, we're going into the weekend. I will come back and take a look at the data that I had in here. No, I know that the 2-day has worked very well with base. The MACD on the 2-day works very well with base, and I usually use a cross signal on it. And I was looking at that. But I like the two. I love the 2 day. When I first started mapping out coin, the 2 day has always been a really good time frame to use. You can see how the extensions in here, but really, I like using the MACD in here on the 2 hour. It has always worked every single time for calling these tops in here for for the lows. You might get another little leg down on these low calls, but you might. But it's done really good. And this is just my personal little moving average. You can do, you can plot anyone on here. This is just one that I formulated. But just price action alone, it's always going to be king. And that was just a good SFP. So, liking coin, I'm hoping for a rejection and another push down personally because I do want to add to my position for it. I do want to add. And I wasn't paying attention. Bullish divergence on your delta. Bullish divvies on the delta here for coin. But I love using the 2 day. 2 day is a good time frame to use for Coinbase. Good time frame. Put it back over here on the 16. I ain't mean to take you to Meta just yet. What else? We already discussed that. Tesla. Here we go. So Tesla. I mean, you see this little channel. I know that we covered Tesla, but there is a little channel in here. There's a little channel, a rising channel in here for Tesla. Like I said, 457.50 call interest to the upside here. You have this little trend line through here. Remind me later. They keep trying to do these little updates on me. You got this one trend line down through here to look back at on the push up outside of what I covered earlier. I'm sorry. Yeah, but nice little channel in here. I just wanted to highlight that little channel that I'm seeing in here for it. It's next week. It's a magnet. Robinhood. I was looking for that 100 on Robinhood, and I'm like, why did Robinhood has some good news to come out too? Another exchange, derivatives, and blah 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 blah, whatever it is. What are they doing? 1 million. Oh, no, that's not it. It's some sort of derivatives. I mean, of course, Hood's earnings were good, but at the time, I was like, nah, I ain't gonna get that move down on Hood. It's gonna come down. All the bear divs and all that good stuff is gonna come down. But my 100 didn't get hit, and that's okay. That's okay. I said I was gonna be good with it, even if it came back up. even though I didn't get to add to the position, which is all I was trying to do was add to the position. So you have a range in here. You have some pretty decent money come in saying, hey, come back down here, 116. You got some pretty good money to the upside, calling for this 141. And I guess you probably want to focus on the one that's, price will probably get attracted to next week, coming up more here. It doesn't guarantee that this is going to get hit. This could just be something that's out of the money. No, neither one of these is a guarantee, but some pretty good money did go in on both of those. And then you can see the support level down through here. So as the news came out and it hit that, And again, like I said, a lot of price action has been coming just back to here. So that's something to keep an eye on. Um, a lot of price action has just been doing this so far. And that was another piece of confluence in here that messed me up from adding onto my position. For my long bag. But that's okay. And then I just kind of this is directly on this line. You have to pay no attention to this one right here from the little channel breakup, the little channel or whatever you want to call this structure that was through here for hood. So now I'm just kind of pinning it between this top side line here and this bottom side line right now. And then of course you see my 60 that I was saying is my ultimate hopium. It's $60. But I was looking for $100 to get hit. And we didn't get that one. We didn't get that 100. And we'll see how long it rides the news that it had recently dropped. Let's see how long it rides that news. If I click on this. But it did rally off of some news in here on a new exchange. But you can drop those two trend lines if you're into hood, you can drop that. Again, nothing much really happening in the market. Everything is still just sideways at best. So this is just me just trying to get through and talk about a couple of things going into next week, some things that we can be looking at to capitalize on. I think Robinhood may have been the last one that I was looking at in here. I will be looking at AVGO as well, which I did not add to this list for next week. Just kind of trying to stick to what's standing out right now. There's some other stuff that I know I won't be trading that was sticking out as well. But definitely Walmart, Coin. There's even some stuff in here for MicroStrategy. Like I said, AVGO, Hood, Tesla, Circle, even Circle. Ugh, even Circle. I'm just salty about Circle right now. That's all, because I didn't take the money. I didn't take my wins when I should have, and now I'm down, and that's my problem. So I'm just being a little salty about it. I had 3 chances to take my wins off a Circle, and I didn't. And then it just absolutely dropped, on that Head and Shoulders that I said to myself, convince myself to ignore in the beginning. So that's on me. That's on me. I think Hood was the last one. Yeah. I'm gonna have to put this on a 16 hour. So I have to put it back on the 16 hour. I'm gonna have to watch it from this time frame so I can keep that energy, that energy that I have for this thing right here. I'm gonna take a look at Meta. Um, all right, so you see what I'm looking at. I'm looking at 625 as a low for now, and 660 as a high point right now for Meta. I do know that we're hitting the resistance in here on Meta. It is right here, back up here at this 50. And this is not confirmed yet. You see, I have a pending over here. As I was going back through Meta, just kind of looking at how it performed with that band down at the bottom, that indicator, and so this is still pending. No confirmation on that just yet. Right here, we were. Oh, we didn't quite. I mean, we could have tapped it that day. But we do have a little bit of resistance in here, potential resistance right there. And I deleted all the details I had in here, that red dark pool, max pain, and all that stuff that I had in here. I went ahead and deleted that since we got the bounce from the zone down here, which is great. Which is also, it depends on what time frame you're watching this on. Um, will make a difference. It will make a difference, the time frame. But right here, with all the noise I have going on in here, and this right here, that took a little bit of time right there with the bullish divergence that we were building up in here for when we were looking at it. Our bull div and then our break. But anyway, past all that, this is what I'm looking at right here. So you see how we're riding outside this band right here? That's why I have this slid over. And I'm going to keep moving it until we come back in. Because once we come back in, you see what happens when you come back in. This one put in a little bit, it dropped, but then it put in a little bit of a deviation. And you can see it right here with the bullish divergence, how it put in some bullish divergence before putting in that bear div that ultimately gave it the little move down. But Meta consistently puts in weak lows. I did note that it puts in a weak low every time. The only time it probably won't put in a weak low, it would depend on where this is sitting. So anytime this is up right here above where its 20 SMA would normally be at, then maybe right here, like it didn't give a strong follow through here, and you can see how it came back up in here. Now there are times where I will ignore this, and I will ignore it based on the MACD. I will ignore it sometimes based on the MACD. It just depends on what the MACD is doing. If there's a reason for me to ignore that sort of situation in here, like over here, I ignored it in here. That's different. That's different. I usually don't use it when it's like that anyway. It has to be somewhere in here within the red zone. It needs to be somewhere within the red zone for me to even really care about that. So this is pending as it is riding on the outside of here. And then once it drops in, then it's worth looking back at. But you can see how positive the MACD is right now. So it could actually push through this resistance in here and keep going. You just have to be on the lookout for that break of that resistance, though. So far, it's holding up, and so far, this looks decent in here as well. So just holding that pending, but again, breakdowns through here. And I said I would ignore this, but it will be dependent upon MACD as well, and where it's positioned at. If it's squeezing together, if volatility is low, that will make a difference for me as well. Volatility would have to be low. And then you can see on some of the push-ups in here. And that's a squeeze. So, and I only just went back through this for the year. That's it. Nothing more than just for the past year, just looking at the performance for the past year. So if you do see us felling this resistance in here, not being able to get past the resistance, then you would be able to understand, another little leg down here for Meta could be in the cards. Could be in the cards. It could be something like this right here. How this got that little push up and then rejected down. Okay. Obviously, the masses is looking up, especially after that move down. Big bullish divergence in here for Meta, and like I said, it tends to put in weak lows, and that's all that we were looking for throughout this entire time was just getting down into here and looking for the bounce away, not breaking below this trend line right here, which is very important. We don't lose this trend line in here. I wouldn't be in it beyond that point right there. And I think initially I was calling for, I have it in here. These were the two, and I had a notation under this one, which is gone, but this one was based on price hitting the 586, which at the time where I did the video, and as you've seen it throughout this entire process of Meta falling over, I ended up seeing a news article talking about generational, like this could be generational wealth. I was like, oh, okay. I did a video and I had generational in here for it, and the 586.15, which is what you can see that long entry was for that 586.15. I'm just tooting my own horn right now. Sometimes I get it all the way right. Sometimes I don't. A lot of times I don't. And you can see me saying cut, 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 which is why a notation was underneath this one right here. If for some reason we were failing, because there is still a possibility. There's still a possibility that we can reject and roll down again here for Meta, even though the masses are calling up for upside, which is great. I like to see Meta keep pushing up. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Whatever happened in here, again, it would be a weak low, but it doesn't mean that it can't continue to push lower. It would be a weak low, which in my opinion would be a buy. It just tends to put in weak lows. That's it. Just tends to put in weak lows. So you can see like even after that drop right there, it, it continued to ascend. Volatility continued to rise, which when you see that, it's typically a little bit bearish for starters because price isn't doing that, so it tends to continue to push price down a bit. But it flipped. Delta was, which is why I was just looking at what was I looking at a few minutes ago? I was saying Delta is bullish divergence on Delta. It's probably coin. It was probably coin with the bullish divergence on Delta. So when you see that, when you see something like this on your Delta, where it's doing this, it's usually a mean reversion. And I talk about mean reversions all the time. I typically talk about it with it just depends on which indicator I'm looking at, and I can spot that where you're getting bear divs, where you're getting the bear divs, like where you can see bullish divergence at the lows, but price continues to drop. It's one of those situations where you just have to um, ignore the bullish divergence until you break your mean. And that was the situation right here. So with the delta, 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 and then delta finally breaks the mean, which is your zero. And then you can see how price starts to go up from that point. So you have the bullish divergence coming through, but it's not playing out at the moment. Nope, it's not going to play out till you get that mean reversion. And I try to teach people all the time to just kind of, you have to know when to ignore bullish divergence, and you have to know when to ignore bearish divergence, especially if you can see it's not playing out. And you constantly seeing and you don't see it playing out, then you're waiting for a mean reversion. You have to spot, which is why I use several different indicators, because they're not all gonna, may not all show you that. May not all, like, I would not be looking for a mean reversion because we're not above 50. A mean reversion for the RSI is going to be 50. You can see our trend regression line down through here too. For when we're really looking for that breakout in here. But right now, like I said, not confirmed yet, but something to keep an eye on as we are around resistance for Meta. I think that was it. I'm gonna go eat some breakfast. I'm gonna go eat some breakfast. We're just gonna be sideways. See what happens when market opens. But it's around a holiday. People gonna be Black Friday shopping. Um, Market's gonna close at 1. So you know, people are taking less time to be in the charts right now. All right. So there's really nothing to cover today. I just didn't want to miss another stream. I wasn't here yesterday for this American holiday, which I don't celebrate, but it was an American holiday, and of course Wednesday. But it's Friday. I will be back on Monday. See if activity picks up on Monday. Stay safe out there with your capital. Low liquidity moves right now. But $90,000 was hit. And that's good. I'm still holding my little Bitcoin long. I'm really not even caring about this thing, to be honest with you. Not one bit. Not one bit. And like I said, Zcash, what I told you to look out here for Zcash, okay? It's be really good if you can get it down here, you know. It's going to be a common move throughout the market. euphoria, and coming back down into here to your harmony level, which is in here with the golden pocket. You can try for an SFP. It's just more psychological in here, you know? You can try for that SFP right there. And then there's one in here as well. Your golden pocket. So just chill out with this one, everybody. Just chill out with this one. I'll see you on Monday. Hit the like button. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. And I'll see you on Monday.